Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to go over what to do if you are going through a back pain flare-up, okay? I'm not going to go into the science behind back pain. I want just pure nitty-gritty actionable information here, okay? So let's say you feel fine and then all of a sudden you feel a twinge in your back, or let's say you do a deadlift and your back starts hurting, or you wake up in the morning, you feel stiff. Any kind of flare-up or any potential flare-up, all right? The first thing that we want to do to prevent flare-ups is make sure that you have good lifting technique. In this case, that means being able to lift with a neutral spine and bracing properly, especially when you hinge, okay? So if you are prone to back pain, send us a video of you doing a hinging motion. That can be with your body weight. That can be doing an RDL. It can be a deadlift. It can be a power clean. Any pull from the floor, anything where your hip is hinging, send it to us and we'll clear your technique. Okay. That's number one. That is literally one of the number one things that you can do to prevent back pain. And then I'm actually going to put a second point here. Second, good posture throughout the day. That's going to be the second really important thing that you do, is just make sure that you're practicing good posture throughout the day. All right. If you are going through a back flare up, you don't have the luxury of having bad posture. Okay. If you've never had back pain in your life, your spine might be resilient enough to handle sitting with bad posture, picking things up with bad posture, and that type of thing. Right. It'll have the capacity to handle those things. And it is possible to train your spine to be able to handle that eventually. But for now, you have to have good posture. That means when you're sitting, sit with your spine straight. Make sure you have back support. You want to mix in periods of sitting, standing as much as possible throughout the day. All right. So those are the really important two things that you have to be doing no matter what. All right. Now, I want you to ask yourself this question right here before any time you do anything. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to do going to make me feel better or worse tomorrow? If the answer is worse, or if you feel any hesitation in the answer, all right, any kind of hesitation, follow these guidelines. So let's say you're about to back squat, all right? Here's one of our training cycles right here that we program sometimes, max strength 1. Let's say you're about to do a barbell back squat, and you feel hesitation. You feel like tomorrow you might wake up and be like, damn, it was a bad idea to do that lift. Or, oh, this might make me feel a little bit of pain. Or let's say you're doing a rep and your back feels tight, right? Any kind of hesitation in your answer. What you're going to do is you're either going to change the exercise, you're going to change the range of motion, you're going to cut intensity, or you're going to cut volume. Either of those or a mixture of all of them. Okay? So you might change back squat to a front squat, right? A front squat has less compression because the bar isn't sitting on top of your spine, right? There's going to be way less compression. A lot of guys can handle front squatting, but not back squatting. That is someone like me. That's what I do if I can't back squat. Or you could cut the range of motion, right? Because the lower you go and you don't have good mobility, the more butt wink you're going to experience. Your spine is going to round. So you can cut the range of motion. So instead of doing a deep back squat, you might go half squat or quarter squat. All right. And that's not going to load the spine up as much. So, or you might just change the exercise completely. So it might not even be a front squat. Maybe you'll go leg extension or leg press, something where your spine isn't loading. All right. If you don't know what to replace it with, ask us. Ask in the school group. Say, hey, my back doesn't like these squats. What should I replace it with? And we'll get back to you. Or you can also ask in the group chat. All right. So follow these guidelines. Same for the deadlift, for deadlifts and power cleans, any kind of pulls from the floor. You can cut the range of motion there as well. Do it from the blocks. Maybe you don't have the mobility to lift with a perfectly neutral spine and bracing properly. Lift from the blocks. Lift from a rack. Okay. Cut the range of motion. You don't have to go full range of motion to jump higher. Okay. That is a really common misconception. It's not going to hurt your progress. And then finally, let's say you have freaking 4x10 back squat and that feels like too much volume that your back's not going to handle it. Cut the volume. Do 5 reps instead, or do less sets. All right. That's also going to help a lot. And then the other adjustment you can do is cut the intensity. All right. So instead of 80%, maybe you go 50%. All right. You want to basically use a combination of these 4 variables right here to change the answer to this question to you're going to feel better. All right. So if the answer is I'm going to feel worse, use these 4 variables to change it in a way that the answer becomes it's going to make me feel better. All right. Motion is lotion. If you exercise in the right way, it's actually going to be beneficial to you. All right. It's going to make your back stronger, more resilient. You're going to make progress over time. All right. And this is how you do it. Now, the final thing is if you are going through a back flare up, during the workouts, apply these variables, and then you're going to add McGill Big 3, 1 minute each exercise, and you're going to do this 3 times per day. If you don't know what the McGill Big 3 is, I put a good video by Squat University here. All right, we have the curl up. We have, where's the side plank? We got the side plank right here, and then we have the bird dog. So watch this video. You're going to do each of those once a day, 3 times per day. All right, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you're also going to do 15, 30-minute walks at a brisk pace with big arm swings. You're also going to do that 3 times per day. Okay? So doing this right here alone is going to make you feel way better. Like I said earlier, motion is lotion. These things are going to be extremely beneficial for your back. And then finally, if you did all this, okay, all this, and it's still getting worse, your back's getting significantly worse, tell us. And we'll adjust the training. Also go to a group call and tell us there. We'll be able to adjust your training. That is the benefit of one-on-one coaching, is we can make those changes for you. But do this, guys. Being able to do this properly is going to teach you so much about your body. A lot of training, it is us coaching you. But the more you can build autonomy into your training and make these adjustments on the fly, the more progress you're going to make over time and less the likelihood of you getting hurt is going to be. Because at the end of the day, we're not in the gym with you. All right. We can give you an answer, but it might be delayed by a couple hours. So use these guidelines to make these changes on the fly. And I guarantee if you do this properly, you're not going to go through a back flare up. Okay. It's just about not having pride in answering this question right here properly and then making the correct changes here. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.